The father placed a stone in his daughter's swaddle, then heartlessly threw her into the river. This shocking act was witnessed by the wealthiest man in town, who immediately stripped off his jacket and jumped into the river without hesitation to save the baby. After rescuing her, he found the stone in her swaddle and was filled with rage. Meeting the baby on this significant day seemed like fate, so he decided on the spot to adopt her. The wealthy man then withdrew from his high-profile life and began living a modest existence to raise his daughter. However, when the girl turned 5, she was diagnosed with congenital leukemia, and a bone marrow transplant was urgently needed. Her rare blood type meant only the wealthy man's marrow was a match. Despite the high risk of permanent disability, the man donated his bone marrow to save her. 18 years flew by, and under her adoptive father's quiet support, the girl became the CEO of a company worth billions. Meanwhile, the wealthy man suffered leg disabilities from his bone marrow donation. One day, his assistant informed him that his plan to transfer ownership of the vast Kyushu group to his daughter in 3 days was proceeding as expected. However, the assistant worried that if the daughter found her biological parents, she might abandon the man who raised her. The wealthy man, though, was adamant that he would respect whatever choice his daughter made. Soon enough, this concern became reality. The girl's biological parents accidentally saw her on TV and realized she was the daughter they had abandoned years ago. Greedy for wealth and luxury, they plotted to reunite with her. They showed up at her company, pretending to be overwhelmed with emotion, shedding tears, and claiming they'd finally found their daughter. Confused, the CEO asked what was going on. The parents presented a recently made missing persons flyer, accusing the girl's adoptive father of being a human trafficker who had kidnapped her years ago. The cruel mother even showed the woman some newly bought clothes and toys, pretending they were from her childhood. Seeing this, the CEO began to doubt her adoptive father. Her fiancé then produced a paternity test, confirming that these two were indeed her biological parents. Fully believing their story, the CEO concluded that her adoptive father was a trafficker. She began spending time with her birth parents, enjoying lavish meals together and feeling blissful. Meanwhile, her adoptive father had prepared a feast at home but waited in vain for her to return. It wasn't until midnight that she finally came home with her fiancé. Seeing them, the wealthy man eagerly invited them to eat, but his daughter cruelly mocked and scolded him. She then demanded the family registry document. The next morning, she took the document and transferred her household registration to her biological parents. Gleeful in retaliation against her adoptive father, the CEO planned to expose his true identity at her wedding 3 days later, publicly cutting ties with him in front of influential guests. On the wedding day, during her speech, the woman said there was someone she had always wanted to thank, the person who gave her life. The wealthy man assumed she meant him, but to his shock, she pointed to her biological parents. Confused, he watched as she and her birth parents humiliated him, calling him a human trafficker. Her biological parents even falsely accused him of mistreating their daughter. When the wealthy man tried to reveal the truth, the CEO accused him of slander and threw an agreement in his face, officially severing their father-daughter relationship. Heartbroken, the wealthy man watched as his daughter, who thinking he only wanted to exploit her wealth and status, tossed 200,000 yuan at him to humiliate him. Unable to bear it any longer, the wealthy man finally decided to reveal his true identity.